and welcome back to the channel. How Dominance, Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in this episode, we have the League One scores and results from this weekend's matches. Gildart finds a new home for the rest of 2022. And is there an injury crisis at St Helens? Yesterday was a damaging day for St Helens in more ways than one. The champions potentially suffered their worst defeat under Christian Wolf and possibly their worst loss since 2019, as they were beaten by Salford 44 points to 12, with the Red Devils running in 8 tries, 5 of which came within the first half as they led 26 points to 0 at the break. The likes of Joe Burgess, Callum Watkins and especially Tim Lifey were outstanding as the Red Devils dragged the Saints to the kind of hell in the Manchester sunshine. Saints come up with tries from a Maisie Jack Wellesby run, which is controversial as people are saying that it could be a double movement, and a barnstorming effort by Alex Walmsley, but both were just merely consolations. Acting as form as a consolation was the fact that Johnny Lomax passed the HIA test in the second half to return to the field of play, though one man they may not be able to see return to the rugby league field is their winger Regan Grace. An outstanding winger and a key piece of the Saints three-peat side, Grace, after months of speculation, has signed a deal with rugby union side Racing 92 after plenty of interest from the other code, as well as a substantial offer from Saints as they try to keep the Welshman at the totally wicked stadium. Grace, though, is set to try and fire the champions more success in 2022, but it seems like he may have played his last game for the club after suffering a worrying injury in yesterday's game against Salford. Grace fell to the floor with no one around him, which always is a bad sign. He immediately went to his knee in pain. The winger was subsequently helped off the field. It's been a tough year for Grace injury-wise, as he had to wait until the Saints win at Toulouse to make his first senior appearance of 2022. Despite that, Saints have had youngster John Bennison, who has proved a good replacement, but with Tommy Makinson and Will Hapawate out, as well as Jack Wellesby constantly changing from fullback to halfback and vice versa due to the loss of Lewis Dodd, Bennison has had his hands full filling in other positions. We're expecting that T. Ridson is going to be Grace's long-term replacement should Saints lure him from Barrow, but with this year's transfer window now shut, bringing him in early would be not an option. A player of Grace's quality is already going to be a huge loss to the Super League product, so let's hope that it isn't a premature loss either. If this was to be his last game due to what looks like a very bad injury, there would be a certain irony to it with a win against Salford at Old Trafford still fondly remembered by Grace and other members of Saints squad, especially when contemplating Grace's now iconic hurdle through the Red Devils' defence in the first half. He'll be unlucky if he does have the injury, but from what Christian Wolf has had to say, speaking about the injuries, Regan Grace, Christian Wolf said about Grace, Regan in particular, when you fall over without anyone touching you is usually a bad sign. He was with a doc when I spoke to the blokes just then. I'll have a look at those when I'm back in the shed. It's been a tough year like that. A lot of injuries and disruptions than what we would have had in the last 2 years. But we're a champion team, and part of that is finding a way through that. And living by your standards as we do every week. We've done a terrific job with that for the majority of the season, and that's why we're sitting at the top of the ladder. But we didn't do that today, and we've got to be really honest about that. Another injury concern for St Helens is second rower Curtis Sirenen, as he has what appears to be a ruptured bicep, in what Christian Wolf described as a similar injury to Johnny Lomax's earlier in the year. But again, they have to get that confirmed, but that's what it looks like on the early assessments. Numbers are getting lower and lower for Saints, so hopefully they'll be able to put things together and challenge to make the competitive playoffs and the rest of the season real competition. Now let's go on to the Betfred League One, as there is a results and scorers that we need to cover from the 5 games that took place in the division Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Keighley were the ones that had the weekend off this week due to, as we say every single year, every single episode even, when we're doing fixtures, there are only 11 teams in Betfred League One. But anyway, let's get into the results and scorers for those 5 matches. So the weekend opened up with Hunslet playing Midland Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes came away with the victory, 24 points to 0, on Friday the 29th of June 2022. It was the first time that the Hurricanes went away to one of the perceived Heartland clubs and won in their own backyard. And also nilling Hunslet is also another good feat for the club. Tries from Wilkinson, Wallace, Walton and Cullimore were the line breakers for this game, with Stead converting 3 of the tries and kicking a penalty. We then move on to Saturday the 30th of June, as London Scholars demolished the Cornwall RLFC 46 points to 6. In what has been an up and down season for the Scholars, this is a respite as they ran in 8 tries against the Cornwall team that are still looking to find their feet in League One. Bassett was the main scorer of tries, as he got 4 of them for Scholars, when Varnos got a double. Daventivula scored 1 try, and McDonald also got a try for himself. 7 conversions were made by Lyon, while Rustlings got all the points for Cornwall. We move on to Sunday's games now, as there were 3, and Oldham were the hosts for North Wales Crusaders, and it was a fixture list that went one way after half-time. Oldham were winning 10 points to 8 at half-time, and Crusaders came out 29 points to 16 victors in the end. For Oldham, they had Restall and Astley to thank for the tries, while Hewitt kicked 2 goals and 2 penalties. For Crusaders, they had Eckley, Arvan, Billsborough, Breers, Barrett and Massam, who broke the try line for tries apiece, and 2 conversions by Johnson. What the Breers family do as well is drop a drop goal every now and again, and he put young Breers this time sealed the win for the Crusaders. Rochdale Hornets welcomed Swinton Lions after their short trip to the Crown Oil Arena. That's what I know it's at. But it was the Lions that came away with a victory with 53 points to 22 scoreline, after leading 36 points to 6 at half-time, so it's a dominant display from Swinton. For Rochdale Hornets, who have had some decent results recently, apart from the last 2 where they've come a little unstuck, they had Rodden, Sheridan, O'Keefe and Tyra to thank for their tries, while Rush kicked 3 goals. Swinton had Abram to thank for the majority of their points, as he came away with 28 points in this victory, with 2 tries, 7 conversions and 3 penalties. The other tries were scored by Roby, Brickhill, 2 from Case, Roberts and Gregson, while Hansen kicked the drop goal to finish off the game. And finally, Doncaster's week off in round 16 saw them come out victors against a struggling West Wales Raiders. It was 30 points to 6 at half time, but 62 points to 6 at the end of the game, as Doncaster posted 30 plus points in both halves. For the tries, Doncaster had Sanderson for 2, Halliday for 3, Boas for 2 and Whitmore for 2, as well as Howe, Story and Johnston all getting on the try scoring list. Howe converted 6 of the tries, while Robinson's converted 1 of the last scoring points. West Wales had Badham to thank for their try, and Simpson converted the resulting score. So what does that mean for the league table? Well, Keighley had the week off, but they still look like that it's theirs to lose this season, with an unbeaten season of 15-15. 4 points behind though come North Wales Crusaders, but with Keighley's game in hand, that could be 6 points. Swinton Lions are a game behind the Crusaders themselves, but looking for a playoff spot and are on 24 points. Then there are 2 more competing for the playoffs as well, with Doncaster and Rochdale Hornets both on 22 points, and Hornets being in the 5th place position after Doncaster's win boosted them up the league. But the points differential should put them below Rochdale Hornets from what I can see. 306 to 383. Anyway, we'll let the league sort that out in the future. Hunslet defeat sees them 5 points adrift, but nowhere near the relegation zone, so I think they're happy in mid-table, but want to progress going into next year. Oldham, Midland Hurricanes and London Scholars look as if they're safe, touching wood, but Scholars have played a game more than the 2 above them, with Oldham a point ahead of the 3 out of the 3. Cornwall and West Wales Raiders are the ones battling out for the wooden spoon, but West Wales look a bit out of sorts and just need a victory to get them season going, I think. For the past couple of months, there has been some speculation about Oliver Gildart, whether he'd be moving clubs from West Tigers in the lookout for regular rugby league time ahead of the Rugby League World Cup. And the Sydney Roosters is his destination, as the former Wigan Warriors and England international has joined the Roosters for the remainder of 2022 season, as he bids to force his way into the England World Cup squad for this year's World Cup. The 25-year-old has made the move to the NRL at the end of last year, should I say, but has found game time hard to come by, with the West Tigers appearing only 8 times. He will now link up with the Roosters until the conclusion of the current campaign, before returning to the Tigers for next season. Rugby League Live reported how Leeds Rhinos had lined up Gildart for a move to Headingley on loan for the remainder of the 22 campaign, before the move fell through. He's still expected to join the Redcliffe Dolphins for next season though. West are understood to have put the brakes on a return to the Super League ahead of the transfer deadline, a move that stifled the Rhinos at hopes of landing a short-term deal. Gildart was keen to make the move to bolster his World Cup aspirations. In his 8 games down under so far, he has played 8 times, scoring 1 try, but it's where his career started that got him the headlines, as from 2015 to 2021, he was with Wigan Warriors for 129 appearances, scoring 61 tries in the process. He had loan moves in 2015 with Workington, where he played twice, and 3 times with Salford Red Devils, where he scored a try himself. England, he has had 3 appearances also, and scored a try, and he has appeared for Great Britain once. And now he's looking to build his rugby league career again with the Roosters for the rest of the season, before potentially working with former Great Britain and England coach Wayne Bennett at the the Dolphins for 2023. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way. Tell me what your thoughts are of today's episode. Is it a smart move for the Roosters to go for Oliver Gildart at this stage of the season? They may be needing numbers, but not sure if he's quite what they need. St Helens down on numbers, more injuries. Eek, what can you say about that? Hopefully they'll get some numbers together and then be able to continue with their onslaught of the season. It makes it more competitive, and if someone can come up on the rails and beat them, not saying which team, but it's an interesting proposition for Super League. All dominant team getting defeated. The prospect, not saying it'll happen, just I like the idea of that. And also the results in the League One. Tell me what your thoughts are. There are a few teams that are struggling terribly, and they need the season to end so that they can rebuild for next year. I think it's Keighley's to win. They're the ones that are favourites for promotion, and I don't think anyone can beat them, I'm afraid. As much as I'd love to see Swinton back in the Championship, I think it's a bit too soon for them. And North Wales Crusaders, a boost to being on TV with Premier Sports being in charge next year once again. That could be amazing for them. That could help the growth in Wales. But anyway, tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section. The comment section is open for you right now. So please remember to share this video worldwide. And in the meantime, please stay safe. And I wish you all the best. And I'll see you in the next episode.